Okay, here we go. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. Hey, everybody, welcome back to my show, Voice to Be Reckoned with Brandy J. I'm here with one of TikTok's most biggest creators. Um, I
You're modest.
I speak 1906. Did I get it right? Don't fire me. I was like,
Yes, I speak 1906. I appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. So you rather me go with that, right? Then just because that's your platform. That's what you use. So you're okay with
Mhm.
just okay. So I speak. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit nervous, but I can record over this. I'm not used to people staring at me when I do this part.
It's okay.
All right. So I'm here with I speak 1906, one of TikTok's biggest creators. He's a poet, entrepreneur, a speaker, and he is here with us today to tell us his story. And how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. I appreciate you having me on. Um, a lot of creators. Well, first of all, like I said, thank you for having me on and reaching out to me and being as respectful as you are. Sometimes people take this idea that they're entitled to the time of an individual and or of the acceptance of said invite. When the reality is that, and we spoke about this before. It doesn't matter how big your platform is. Someone reaches out to you in a respectful manner and have a reputable platform, it should be no issue for you to speak on that. So, thank you for having me on. A little bit about myself. I grew up in the foster care system. Spent the first 5 years of my life in foster care. From there, kind of bounced around from home to home between my grandmother and my aunt, my oldest brother. Um, I went through small bouts with depression, anxiety. I was sexually assaulted as a teenager. Then, as I got older, I graduated. I'm giving you guys the cliff notes at this point. I graduated high school first in my class, got a full 4 year scholarship to college, went to college, graduated, got a job. I was teaching middle school English, sixth and seventh grade, to whereby I dealt with some very egregious racist situations, to whereas I resigned and I joined the United States Navy. So now I am in the military. I have a wife and three children, and Brandy and I actually were able to link up on TikTok. To whereas I've now amassed a platform of over 240,000 followers and 7.1 million likes.
That's a
um, and I, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to delve deeper into some of those aspects. So, anything you want to get specific about, you got the floor.
for sure, for sure. Thank you for giving us that there. I felt like I was telling some of my other friends in the broadcast and media. I was like, I think this guy, you guys would be interested, because there was a whole nother show they wanted to bring you in on too. Miss Education of America. That's still happening, but I said I think he'd be, because you're well spoken, and I like the way you explain things. And as I dove into finding out more about you, like that's what you kind of you do. You have like a business, right, where
I do.
you promote, you like help people with speaking and bettering themselves,
Yes.
basically.
So I on that standpoint, I am a professional public speaker, and I'm also certified as a speaker trainer through Toastmasters International to essentially teach others how to effectively communicate. To whereby I can go into companies and teach their employees, as well as individuals. I do a lot of individual coaching. I don't brand myself as a coach. I just like to think of myself more so as a mentor in
Mm-hmm.
that regard. Just because I don't want the idea of the coaching industry to be
Yeah,
muddied by those who are not legitimately certified. But
yeah,
again, that kind of begs to the idea that you don't have to be certified to be a coach. Everyone can be a coach in their own right, but to actually charge money for that is a completely different spectrum. So in that regard, like I said, have them reach out to me. I don't mind having a conversation with them, to go on their platform as well, and also too, that I'm doing this off the respect that I have for you. Because normally I charge people for stuff like this. You know what I mean?
oh,
Because like I
thank
said,
you.
I am a professional. Yeah, no doubt. And the thing about it is a lot of my mentors, let me just say this. The Navy pays me very well. You know what I mean? And that's not on me bragging or anything. You can Google my salary. I'm a 5 year, E5. You can Google my salary. It's not, too much, but it's enough to feed my family. And then, like you said, my entrepreneur endeavors. I'm an author. I wrote a book, The Purpose of Power. That's on Amazon. I'm a spoken word artist. I have an album that I put out, metaphorically speaking. That's available on all platforms, all music platforms. And then, like I said, my individual sessions with individuals, not only professional public speaking, but also poetry and social media coaching as well. And in that regard, mentorship, so to speak. But I am looking at getting my certifications because a lot of people do view me as that. And
Mm-hmm.
the reality is that if you're going to do something, especially for free, you're going to do it because you want to do it, not because you
Yeah.
have to do it. And I tell people all the time, I'm all about supporting people's platforms, especially if, they have a platform to whereby they have a fee. I'm a firm believer in supporting people 100% and not looking for what I call the homie hookup. And just to go
Right.
on record, Brandy didn't ask me for the homie hookup. She said, "Hey, I got this platform. I would love for you to be on it." We spoke. I have, established a pretty decent rapport with her. And, I said, cool. We kind of missed each other yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was in your life.
But, we rescheduled and, because I'm a man of my word, my name and my word mean everything to me. So I wanted to ensure that, I was being as forthcoming as possible with, not only getting my own message out, but ensuring that, I keep to my word of coming on here as well. So, like I said, have them reach out to me. I have absolutely no issue. Give me a second. Daddy's on the phone. Yes. Okay.
So
So
cute.
that little tidbit.
Awesome. Thank you once again. But you know, TikTok. How did you because before, TikTok was, dancing and grooving and stuff. When did you begin with TikTok? When did you decide to join the community?
So I started my platform in March of this year, March 24th, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, March 24th. And I had known about TikTok for like a good 18 months because my wife had a TikTok. Um, and in that regard, she put me on to Conscious Lee, to whereby I was like, wait a minute, I thought this was just like a dancing platform. Like, I didn't know people like actually post like intellectual content and like political content and stuff like that. And to which I was introduced to the different sides of TikTok. To whereas
Yeah.
if you engage with certain content, then that's the side, so to speak, that your For You page will be indicative of in terms of the content that you engage with on a consistent basis. So in that, I realized, oh, snap. Well, if he can build a platform, and at that time, he was at like, I think like 200,000 followers. Now I think he's like over 400,000. I was like, if he can build a platform, I know I can build a platform. And I started off with my poetry because I figured, I don't know any other spoken word artists that do what I do on TikTok. So let me try it. I gained 40,000 followers my first month. My second month and a week into my third month, I gained over 100,000. And I was still learning the platform as a creator. I knew it as a watcher, but I didn't know it as a creator. And from there, I just wanted to solidify myself as one of the top Black male intellectuals on the app because there's so much more to me than just poetry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And building my platform so fast, it was just that there's more to me than just my spoken word. I'm very intelligent. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm in a fraternity. I'm in the military. So many different, aspects. I'm an author. I'm a public speaker. So all of these different things I feel like could make me a much more well-rounded TikToker for people to see my perspective, hear my perspective. And then for those that wanted to follow me and latch onto my content, then, we could do that as well as speak on current issues and things that are going on in the world, then, I could do that as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a circle. All right.
So cute. Um, so yeah, because that's what I thought it was. I know I usually tell people then it seemed to like go more into a movement. Like it kind of like took like that's basically really all you'll really see now is people speaking out on what's going on and Black Lives Matters and just like some
hmm
really deep stuff. And so would you say that it kind of that's when it really picked up around after George Floyd's murder?
I think to an extent, there's also people that I think TikTokers look to as, how can I put this? I guess like the gatekeepers of intelligence, if you
Hmm.
will. So people like, for example, Conscious Lee, T. Nathan, the Savage Lokius, Bad Guy Brody, Freak the Gemini, Young Merc Fire, we Love Lil Yeezy, Jay Williams J, guys like us who are intellectual, strong black men that when they see something happen in the news and or in the world, they want to know what our perspectives are on it, just because of the respect that they have for us. Now,
Yeah.
people like Zashton, African Barb, what's the girl name? Ayana Heckard. I always want to make sure that oftentimes we look at all of the top black males, but we don't look at the women that are leading on this app as well in that regard. And there
Yeah.
are a couple more, but there are specific people that when certain things happen that they look to for these types of opinions and things of that nature. To whereby I would be more inclined to agree with you that it did pick up a lot more, to whereas now people are seeing, oh, wow, the power of social media. Oh, also, my degree is in mass communications. So a lot of this stuff, journalism was like our foundation of a lot of our coursework. So for me, one of my slogans is before you speak, do your research. So
Yeah.
in that, a lot of people, they post a lot of misinformation to fit a specific narrative. Yes. Okay, we'll go to the potty. They post a lot of misinformation to whereby a person like myself, a quick Google search, and I can fact check them and debunk the misinformation that they're putting out into the atmosphere, not realizing that TikTok is the only platform right now, is the largest platform that has the most impressionable 12 to 22-year-olds on it actively. They're on other platforms, but they're not active on other platforms, to
Right.
whereby the common man, so to speak, is not someone that's famous. You're what's called TikTok famous, but it's not someone like a Jason Derulo or
Right.
Lizzo or Kevin Hart, those type of celebrities who are on TikTok. So whereas my followers value my opinion more than Kevin Hart, my
Right.
opinion more than a Jason Derulo. So if he say Black Lives Matter and post a video, to them, they're just like, oh, he's a celebrity. You know, he don't really mean that. To where by me, they're like, oh, we know who I Speak 1906 is. You get what I'm saying? Whereas
Yeah.
on Instagram or Twitter, that might not be the same response.
Yeah. Totally.
Yes.
And then you start
So,
talking. That's when they start. The kids are like they'll like to talk to you when you're talking, and then
man, listen.
talk to you. My son's like that too. Okay. Yeah. Well, I agree. And I'd rather listen to you, to be honest, versus Jason Derulo or Kevin Hart. Because that's what people do see. It's like, oh, they're just we want to hear from like real, like
I think
people.
that's another. I think that's another aspect of. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think that's another aspect of TikTok that a lot of people like latch onto. That we are real life, tangible people. Do you
Yeah.
think that you could literally post a comment in Kevin Hart's comments and get him on an interview like this that
Nope.
quickly?
Mm-mm.
You get what I'm saying? So the accessibility is another thing too. To whereas one of my homies, Freak the Gemini, he got over 600,000 followers, way more followers than me. We talk on the phone almost every day. You know what I'm saying? So whereas somebody like, let's see, somebody that has 1 million followers, Papa Gut, if we engage in conversation, I can say confidently, I personally believe that if I literally reach out to Papa Gut, like, hey, I would love to have a conversation with you based on X, Y, and Z, and he has over 1 million followers, I believe that I can get him on the phone and have a conversation with him. So whereby you have a celebrity that might have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers on this specific platform, so whereas you reach out to them, you can't do the exact same. So the accessibility factor, as well as also too the lives. The lives are another thing that makes this platform unique too, because you can't save them unless you screen record. To whereby Facebook, you can post them to your page.
Yep.
Instagram, you can post them to your story and your page, to whereby people can go look at the playback. Whereas TikTok lives are literally real time. You're getting me. Like this is literally my house. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To whereas I'm not in a studio, I'm not at some type of like high profile, type of, environment, whereas we're literally having a genuine one-on-one,
Yeah.
and it's much more meaningful and impactful than if you get one of these celebrities to whereby they're being political, they're not really speaking their mind the way they want to because they don't
Yeah.
want to lose a brand deal or something like that. Listen, you getting me 100%.
Family and all. Just be you changing diapers, multitasking, and all that stuff.
I'm telling you, parenting don't stop because you're on live. Listen, I change
That's it.
diapers on live. Listen, I give them food on live. It don't even matter because you're literally getting our real lives. You know what I mean? As opposed to someone that you can reach out and touch that's not as tangible or credible.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's what's up. You know, with this, that's going on in TikTok, you're always going to get that negative side. You're going to get those trolls, and
Absolutely,
you got one, but it was way, it touched a lot of people. And
indeed,
what was that like? What do you feel about that? Like, what would make
man.
somebody to sit there? I still can't wrap my head around it.
I think holistically, it was an eye opener. Yes. Okay, I'll make sure I change it. Okay. I think holistically, because of how I view my family, a lot of people realize that that's a trigger button for me.
Yeah,
Talking about my family or involving my family. So, for your audience, someone posted a comment in my live saying that they were going to George Floyd my newborn, and in that moment, I was so taken aback that someone even had the audacity to even say that. That was number one. I firmly believe that trolls exist. They brand themselves as the idea of a troll came about from people trolling other people,
yeah,
to whereby in some instances there's no limits to the depths that a troll will go to offend,
hmm,
to accuse, to threaten. You know what I mean? It's no, but it doesn't take away the humanistic aspect of big creators such as myself that have massive platforms that people don't realize that they're just like, oh, just shake it off, or don't quit TikTok because of this. And then the reality is just like, I have every right to be upset about this. I have
yeah,
every right to feel, to cry about it for real, because that is a different level of evil.
yeah,
You get
yeah,
what I'm saying? And even so much so for them to continue to say it over and over and over and over again, eventually the strongest person, it's gonna get to you. It's
oh
not
yeah,
gonna break me, but to some people, it can potentially break them and cause them to quit the platform because such hate exists in the world. But for me, I'm the kind of person that the way I internalize trauma and the way in which I internalize pain, I turn that frustration into focus, and
yeah,
I turn that pain into passion, and I use it as a teachable moment to individuals and to creators that may necessarily come across a situation like that, to let them know, one, you're still human at the end of the day. It's
yeah,
okay for you to feel. It's okay for you to be upset. It's okay for you to contemplate leaving this platform. Because at the end of the day, let me show you something. And again, I don't do this to be arrogant or to be braggadocious or anything like that. I do this to prove a point. I don't have to. This is what I call my shrine of excellence, so to speak. These are all of my trophies. My Navy picture, one of my paddles for my fraternity. You know what I mean? Essentially my life accomplishments, so to
right, right,
speak. And
not,
the standpoint that I come from it is that I don't need TikTok clout. You have some people who literally make being a TikToker their identity, and
yeah,
being on social media their identity, to whereby it's almost like they don't have a personality of their own. You know what I mean? It's like they don't, who are you outside of TikTok? When the reality is that if I quit TikTok today or tomorrow, I would still be making the same, if not more money than I'm already making now, because I've left the platform. So my loyal followers are going to follow me to my other platforms. Two, I don't need TikTok. TikTok needs me. And I say
yeah,
that in the regard of not the platform, but in terms of me, my presence being on the platform. You know what I mean? And some people make social media their life, and they put off this persona to whereby when people call them out, now all of a sudden they got to switch up their tactics. They got to switch up their content because now you've been called out. I'm giving
yeah,
you me right off the muscle. I'm intelligent. I'm a black father. I'm a black husband. I'm in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many aspects to me that if I decide to show you, then cool. If I don't decide to show you, that's cool too. And it needs to be that way. However, the
yeah,
reality is that once you reach a certain level within your platform, certain things about your life is no longer private. And I understand that. But getting death threats to my
yeah,
newborn, nah, you don't get used to that.
no,
I refuse to perpetuate an ideology that big TikTokers have to get used to receiving death threats. No, you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
get used to that. And you have
Yeah.
every right to feel some type of way in the event that something like that actually takes place and or happens. You have every right to feel some type of way. But a lot of times what people don't acknowledge is the fact that we're human.
Yep.
We are still flipping human at the end of the day. We're still
Yep.
human. So some people are just like, oh, don't leave the platform. You're letting them win. Letting them win? Because I decided to put my family over a platform that I don't truly need? No, that's not winning. That's called being mature and understanding that everything that I truly want to say that's lodged up in here, I can't say in a 60-second TikTok.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, you know, everything in that regard is not going to be, you know, oh, I need to be this way or I need to be that way, because the reality is that you can only put out so much. And then you do your lives, then you know, hop on other people's platforms, people duet you, stuff like that, to whereby you can get out more of your thoughts. And then you also got the option to put like text in your videos to fully explain what it is that you mean if someone misunderstands it.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
I pray daily and I meditate daily. And if I did it, I would probably have left TikTok a long time ago. Because it can be very toxic,
Yeah.
very toxic.
Yeah. And what you having
And
so many followers, some of them dip in there, the trolls dip in there, and they like to hide, amongst them and everything. And so it's kind of like,
yep,
you have to prepare yourself to, sometimes I watch their reactions and it's kind of like, okay, the stuff people say, and it's just like, wow. But do you feel like TikTok, like, because I feel like the platforms have, they owe it to their creators and stuff to make it a safe place, you know, to be able to be creative and to, do what they do. Do you feel like they got on it right away or like took care of
no,
it?
they still
No.
haven't. I even had to reach out to the FBI because not only because I'm in the military, but because you can't, hate crimes are to be reported to the FBI, to the Civil Rights Division, as opposed to TikTok's legal team. Now, in terms of TikTok's legal team, someone hasn't reached out to me yet, but I do have some contacts that, because my videos went so viral, they actually got me in contact with someone to begin the process. But in
Yeah.
terms of it being like initially jumped on, it wasn't. And to some people, that can make them feel like the platform in and of itself, either one, doesn't care, or
Mm-hmm.
two, because it's not stated specifically in the community guidelines, you can't report a comment on a live. You get what I'm saying? So even if I send them screenshots to the platform in and of itself, it's almost like it didn't happen,
Yeah.
unless you can furnish proof that it did happen. Now, in regards to certain videos, I do believe that the community guidelines need a massive overhaul, especially as it relates to racism.
Yeah, I
You
read
have a
that.
lot of people you have a lot of people that don't realize that if you go into the community guidelines and look at racial slurs, it's covered.
They could say they're
So
joking or something, right?
that's all they got to say. And
It's crazy.
I know you've probably seen it in some of my videos. I'll say for TikTok purposes, this is completely satire.
Mm-hmm,
That is
yep.
what'll keep the video up. Or if I say in my caption that these are just jokes, or if I say in my comments, these are just jokes. TikTok is a computer. It's almost like a computer system. And it analyzes when people mass report a video, right? And it's taken down. They analyze based off of the reports and based off of the rhetoric in the video and in the comments and the caption, whether or not this violates community guidelines. When they put that this is a joke, or that this is dark humor, or that this is satire, because that's the word they really look for, satire, because it typically it translates to joke. Satire is jokes or comedic material. To one person, it's funny, it's a joke. But to massive amounts of people, it's not funny. There's nothing
Yeah.
funny about racism. But is racism covered under dark humor? Absolutely. But when you make your entire platform just about racism, it's no longer dark humor at that point. You're a racist.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that happens on the app under the community guidelines by technical definition is covered, which is why even myself, I'll be confused. Like, why is it that I report this video and it doesn't get taken down? That's bullcrap. And then I go and look at the community guidelines. It's covered. And whether we want to admit it or not, when you click that accept button, you
Yeah.
accept the community guidelines.
That's
It's almost
true.
like terms and conditions. Most people, they get on me. Why do you always read the terms and conditions? Because I need to know what I'm accepting.
You're like, duh.
So
You
that
didn't
when
ask question.
Listen, when people give me like when I go to like T-Mobile and stuff like that to like buy a phone or to whatever, and they give you that like 6-page document with terms and conditions and tell you, oh, sign here, and I take 30 minutes to read the entire document, and they sit there like, oh, we got other customers. Oh, no problem. I'll go sit over there on the couch and read, all of this stuff. So I know what it is that I'm signing, because what
Yeah.
happens is you go to complain, right? And the organization, TikTok, T-Mobile, AT&T, they just do this. But you signed our terms and conditions.
Yeah.
So this was covered, that was covered, this was covered, that was covered, this was covered, that was covered, and you end up looking like an idiot.
Yep.
So
It's
how do
like
I
someone
look
page somewhere.
championing facts? How do I look championing on my page the ideology and or the thought process of, or the talking point rather, before you speak, do your research, if I
Yeah.
myself am not doing my own research? Whether you like it or not, whether
Right.
you agree with it or not, it's in the community guidelines, and you have to adhere by it. Otherwise, leave the platform.
Exactly. Very true. Very, very true.
Or my apologies, or petition for them to change it and or amend their ways so that it can be all encompassing of everybody.
Yeah, for sure. That is true. Wow. Wow. I couldn't believe when I read
Sorry,
that
can you
too.
put it back away?
Um,
I'm sorry.
so what is it? So with your platform, do you have anything in the future or something that do you have any future plans that are gonna be, obviously because you have other things you do. So what do you see in the future for yourself and your platform on TikTok?
Oh, you about to get an exclusive? Okay, so I've been working as of recently on starting a podcast based off of my slogan, "Buckle up, let's talk about it."
Gonna get that in
So
there.
I reached out to my TikTok community for someone for a graphic designer. Number one, to get my TikTok family involved, and number two, to ensure that I'm making you all part of the process, so that when I do debut it, number one, to show the logo, and then two, to push people more so to the podcast, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about oftentimes, especially on my lives, they're like, yo, you should have a podcast. I would listen to you all the time, blah, 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 blah. And once you reach a certain level within your podcast, now it's another stream of income.
Yeah.
And I have a solidified audience that I know for a fact would
Oh yeah.
actually listen, to whereby my big goal, that's one of my intermediate goals. My big goal is to scale out my platform so much so that I can live off of being a social media influencer, to whereby I can travel the world doing what I love, which is public speaking, doing keynotes, workshops, spoken word performances, things of that nature, and get paid decently to do so. However, I have a wife as a stay-at-home mom, and I have 3 children. So I can't just tell her, hey, babe, I'm finna get out the Navy and be a full-time TikToker. And she's like, well, how much are you making right now? Well, I ain't really making nothing right now.
I see that being a skit, like on TikTok.
Come on. I don't really have no brand deals or no endorsements, but I got good faith. We got 3 kids. Faith ain't gonna pay the bills on the first and the 15th.
Right,
So
right.
that's one of my bigger goals, and one of my I guess long-standing goals is to just continue putting good energy out into the atmosphere, and allowing individuals to a platform to be able to have these difficult conversations as it relates to race, as it relates to culture, current events, things of that nature, and to give people an empowered mindset and have them feel emboldened that they're regardless of how big their platform is, their voice matters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why I always like to say, everybody, your voice matters, and that's another reason why I like doing what I do, because I want to give people, all of our voices matter. There's no ones that's higher or less than. We're all here. You know, we're all human, and we all have something to say. And I feel like if we can be respectful and we can share those things that make people uncomfortable, but if we can provide that safety, then I think
Absolutely.
that's going to get us somewhere. So most definitely, I was definitely going to bring that up to you. I was going to say, I think you should do a podcast, because I think
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
oh, you see you like handling that. Yeah. So that's awesome. You inspire me, you know what I mean? To keep doing what I'm doing and to just do it, just go for it, because sometimes you get discouraged. Or I had my first set of trolls the other day and kind of hurt my fucking feelings. Did, but I didn't give up. I stayed at it. And yeah, I just knew that's what it comes with, and you just got to keep going. So I definitely appreciate
Absolutely.
what you do. And yeah, I'm happy that I came to this community and I came across you. And just know that if I could ever do anything for you, give me a holler.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So
And
can you give?
another thing, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Mm-hmm.
about to say another thing that, as you continue to build your platform, you'll realize that some of those people, while they present themselves as trolls, they're really and truly trying to see how long you're going to last on the platform. And I
Mm-hmm.
think once I eclipsed 200,000, they just knew, oh, I speak next. I say he's here to stay. You know
They
what I'm
go
saying?
no.
He's here to stay. So, there's only so much that you can say. And then at a specific point, too, once you reach a certain level in the way that you build your platform, oftentimes I don't even have to engage trolls in my comments. My followers will do it for me because they know I'm not about harassment. I'm not about doxing. I'm not about sending nobody death threats, but I am about holding people accountable for the things that they say. And when you
Yeah.
post it on the internet, do know and do understand that somebody out there is going to hold you accountable.
Oh yeah, and you do that very well, might I say. So yeah,
Yes.
that's always nice to see. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you before we go, where did
Mm-hmm.
you're saying buckle up? Where did that come from? Is there a story behind that or
You know, I was actually scrolling back through my videos to try to figure out where that came from because it kind of just like became a thing. Um, I was, I think I was in the car and I think I literally buckled the seatbelt to actually like talk about it. And like another thing, and this is another like I guess benefit of having a large fan base as well. Even when you don't want something to become a thing, it'll become a thing. So like for example, I have so right now I have Make It Make Sense, Buckle Up, okay, 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 and I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. And I call my followers my army of intellectuals. So when I first started doing these Make It Make Sense videos, it was more so just a caption along the top of my video to whereby I did a reaction video to some either racist stuff or like, ridiculously sexual stuff that was happening that probably should not have been happening on the app. And then I go and report it. And then it says it doesn't violate community guidelines. So I'm like, yo, make this make sense. And a lot of people was just like, oh, this is around the time where people say you are the CEO of. And I was like, I'm the CEO of Make It Make Sense. What does that even mean? So then people started to make me synonymous with Make It Make Sense. So anytime somebody would say Make It Make Sense, people would tag me in their videos. So then I'd be like, man, that don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And then I'll duet the video and I'll put like on the top on today's episode of Make It Make Sense. And then I'll post, their duet. And then when I realized duets don't get the same reaction as, yes, that is a bug. It won't get the same reaction as you doing a regular organic video with just you. So I was like,
yeah.
I could just say it as a slogan and I don't have to do the duet, so to speak. Boom, then it becomes a thing. The buckle up, let's talk about it. It wasn't nearly as like, I feel like it's more commercialized now to whereby I say buckle up and then I zoom in and say, let's talk about it. It's not kind of like became like my thing. To whereas in the beginning, I literally was just like, buckle up, let's talk about it. And then the same with I was doing one video and I was like, okay, okay, okay. And then I would just literally go into whatever it is that I was talking about. After a while of doing it so long, my kids would say, too loud, daddy, in the background. And I was like, this actually sounds pretty decent. Too loud, Kylie. So whereas, I say it so much, and now my followers, literally in one of my lives, my followers were like, yo, you should put that on a onesie. I'ma buy it. What? My first, I think 24, no, I'm sorry, my first 48 hours of having that up, over 300 people bought onesies with okay, 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 too loud daddy on it.
That's what's
And I was
up.
just like, what? And now people are asking for merch that says buckle up, let's talk about it. So in that regard, I was like, I don't want to just put words on a shirt again. I'm not doing that. What I want to do is I want to get a logo made. And then from there, I'll put that logo on the actual t-shirt and then we'll go from there. So I was like, okay, how best can I not only get the merch out and, get income off of that? I want to reach out to my TikTok community so I can assist someone else, always helping, in
Yeah.
building their platform by saying, hey, listen, this is what the official buckle up, let's talk about it logo is. This is the person that created it. Go show him some love. If you want some graphics, and because of the depth of my platform, anybody that I promote, which you seen the hat that I had on the beginning, that was
Yeah.
Generational Curse Clothing. That was one of my sponsored ads that I did most recently for one of my frat brothers, his clothing line. Anybody that I put on my platform, immediately your product becomes boosted because of the respect, number one, that my followers have for me, and two, just off the sheer numbers of how many people follow me, because
Yeah.
they are invested in whatever it is that I have on. So this one, it's just a regular Eagles hat, you know what I'm saying, that I wear in some of my videos. And, you know, I just like how it feels. It's real meshy. I like how it feels. And I do a lot of my like working out or like yard work with it on and something like that. So in that regard, boosting things and putting people on my platform, you know, especially in a positive manner. Now, if you hear buckle up, let's talk about it, you're probably not going to like what's coming next after that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shoot! Like, let's put it
Nah,
on.
nah. But in that regard, I found it as a way to push out a lot of content at one time, but then also to champion and further push, four slogans: before you speak, do your research. And then
Yeah.
before that slogan, it's a mindset, but it's also a way of life. Because a lot of times people, they get emotionally triggered by things. And I tell them to push past the emotional and get to the logical. Don't diminish the emotional, but engage and address the logical aspect of it of, okay, you see something happen in the news. Immediately you become emotionally triggered. Cool. Now let's get to the logical. Let's talk facts. What are the facts of the case? What actually happened? Not what are you triggered by, what actually happened. And if you're
Yeah.
going to talk about it, let's make sure we talk about the whole story, not just the part that fits your narrative. And you have a lot of people who politically pander on this app or on TikTok. I said this app, this is Zoom, on TikTok. And it's just like, it's so disgusting to me that they'll push out only a certain part of a story that fits their narrative and not the entire story, and then give their personal opinion on it.
Yeah. That's when
So
do
when you come, buckle up.
Yep.
Let's
You know,
talk
that's
about
how I kind
it.
of. That's how I kind of. Well, also with fact checking, but like that's how I with some people I come across. If they've said that you've, you know what I mean, kind of okayed them or you checked into it, I'd be like, okay, I can rock with her. I mean, I was like, you
Yeah,
know, 'cause
thanks.
there's a few people, you know, that have been presented and your name has came up and you have back, you know, obviously did your fact checking and you backed them up, and so it's like, okay, that's something I can tell somebody, like, oh, they're definitely legit, you know, if this
Yeah,
person is
thanks.
speaking on it. So
And if
for
they're
sure,
not legit and they try to play me and they get on my platform, I'm gonna blast them because that's how
yeah,
I get down. You're not about to and that's another thing too. And this is something for you to take and put under your belt as well. As your platform continues to grow, because I'm more than positive it is going to grow, that you have to understand that not everyone is going to have good intentions when trying to connect with you. And some
yeah,
people are just going to try to eat off the platform that you've built just for the sake of eating off of it. Now, again, if you're going to do something and you're not going to charge for it, you do it because you want to do it, not because they're backing you into a corner and or pressuring you to do it. And a lot of people will seek to try to do that. And one of my mentors, his name is Eric Thomas. He's an internationally known public speaker as well as a minister. He talks a lot about how he gets paid, oh my goodness, astronomical amounts of money to go, you know, NBA, NFL, Fortune
wow,
500 companies, all of this stuff. But he also does programs for free. But he does them because he wants to do them, not because he has to do them. And it's the
yeah,
same with you. As you continue to build your show, there are going to be people that are going to be like, oh, yeah, I heard about Brandy's show. Yeah, yeah. Let me hit her up. Oh, come on, sis. You know, come
I,
on, sis. When really and truly, it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? If you said to me, hey, I want to get you on my platform, but I charge X, Y, and Z, but I reached out to you because I was, no problem. Either I'm going to tell you yes or I'm going to tell you no. Period. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And those that truly believe in, you know, the depth of your platform, and you know, I asked you a lot of questions, you know what I mean,
yeah,
as it relates to, you know, how you built your platform, what do you talk about, you know, what are your goals, blah, 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 because I want to get a full, complete understanding of what you got going on. Because now what happens is, let's say, for example, and I'm not saying you'll do this, but this is something for you to take into account. You attach yourself to someone, right? They do something that is of a completely nefarious nature. Now the fact that you're connected to them, that reflects negatively off on your platform unknowingly and inadvertently, because you're attached to them. Now that no longer becomes just their problem, it's your problem too.
Yep, totally understand that.
So you vet them as much as possible and say, hey, listen, if someone asks me about Brandy, I'm defending you to the ends of the moon. Until you give me a reason to not defend you, I'm going to defend you to the end of the moon. She's legit. And whenever this goes live, boom, I'm promoting it. I'm promoting your platform. I'm promoting your page, because that's the kind of person that I am. I'm not just going to, oh, hey, guys, I just did this, this show, blah, 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 and then don't give none of the information about it.
Right.
How does that look? But you have people that do that, and they try to take and use their celebrity to suppress these smaller accounts and these smaller creators. When really, truly, to me, that's just such a trash mentality to perpetuate, and I just refuse to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, you're a stand-up guy, and thank you so much. We need more like you, and with that, there'll be more, because you're an example, and you can be that for somebody else that, can look to you and be like, well, if he can do it, you know what I'm saying, I can do it too. And I like that type of
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, I'm going to let you go because I know you got things to do. I did have one more question,
Absolutely.
but I can ask that later.
No. You can ask you one more question. I got about 10 minutes.
Okay. So yesterday, that was freaking genius. Because when you said, I was just staring at you. I was just like looking at you, like he said he's got something serious to say, and then you put the hat on, and he said Trump 2020. I still was staring at you. I just like. I started typing. I just said, okay, let me see how he's doing. I just shut it down. I said, I went over to Instagram and I said, are you okay? You right, honey? I was like, it's all right. I was like, because this election right here is not like any other. And it's like, you just don't know. It's just not any other I've ever seen before. So I don't know what would make a person, but it's got to be something, but at the same time, and I did a show on this. I had a talk with my son the other day about this, and I did a show on, I think it was yesterday, and then a year ago, I did a show on this, like letting political views split up. I gave different scenarios, split up, break up friendships and stuff, like with somebody that voted for somebody that you wouldn't, would you let that play, just ridding of a friendship? And that's like big for some people. There was a guy that said he would leave his whole mama, what I mean, if she voted for Trump. And I was just like, it's not as like black and white as people make it seem. Like there's certain things that maybe this one president they can really stand for but it might not be all of the stuff they stands for, but they don't, it's kind of set up that way. You kind of try to do the best you can. Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting that you did that, and the whole time I was thinking like, oh God, I bet you they feel really stupid right now. But you weaned them out, So what it is though, but that was pretty genius. So was that something like you're like in the back of your head, you're like, let me see who's going to pay attention when I do this?
So it was a twofold situation. So number one, a lot of the people didn't look at my previous post, to whereas not endorsed, but I pretty much publicized the fact that Joe Biden chose Kamala Harris as his running mate. And a lot of people that follow my platform, they know that number one, I'm independent. I'm not left leaning, I'm not right leaning, I'm independent. I value policy over the person.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that, don't get me wrong, I don't not value the person in terms of who that individual is, because I definitely hold them accountable for the things that they say. But I'm more concerned, especially as it relates to politicians, what are their policies?
Yeah.
And in this regard, I've been saying publicly that I believe before he chose Kamala Harris, Joe Biden had no opportunity to beat Trump. I will go on record to say I did not think that he would have a chance at all of beating Trump on his own. And who he decides to choose is going to be very vitally important to him potentially defeating him if that's his ultimate goal. And again, I don't know anyone that runs for president besides Kanye West that don't want to win. So in that regard, one of my fraternity brothers, he had sent me his clothing line and paid me to do a sponsored post for him, which I offer on my page for a flat rate of $100. That's it. for people to, for me to promote either a product, a service, a business, or whatever the case would be, that's outside of the realm of my, I guess, normal talking points. So he sent me this blue hat.
Cool.
And then this burgundy hat. And it's actually burgundy, but under the light, it looks red.
Yeah.
So I was like, Yes.
So cute.
Yes, it is a hat. No, you're not putting on this hat. This is Daddy's hat. Yeah, this is not a toy. This is not a toy. I'll buy you a hat, okay? All right, Daddy will buy you your own hat, and then you don't have to worry about putting on Daddy's hat. So in that regard, I was like, I think this is a perfect opportunity to debut this clothing line. So in that regard, I said, okay, what best can I do that I know is going to evoke an immediate reaction, but also do it so covertly that there's an underlying, because really and truly, I wanted to open up the conversation about just what you talked about and prove 2 points. Number one, people don't read, and that I can do a sponsored post and promote a clothing line, and people don't even realize that's what's going on. And then 2, people become legitimately triggered by people's political beliefs, even when they don't believe it. But just the potential could be enough for people to turn on people.
Yep, that quick.
Man, that video right now has almost 100,000 views.
Wow.
And just that fast, I think in under an hour, it had like 30,000 in under an hour. I have never had a video do that great numbers that fast.
Wow.
So when I did my follow-up video, I was like, oh, I'm just throwing the bait out there. As a child, I love fishing. So I was like, I'm just throwing the bait out there. Just throwing the bait out there. And then in the comments, I'm like being covert too. I was like, wow, imagine, imagine judging someone based off their political beliefs. Wow. Right? Just egging it on like, okay, I want to see where this is going. Then when I did my follow-up video, it was like, anyone that knows me, they know I'm an independent. I'm waiting on the debates to happen so that I can see where these people fare in terms of their policies and what their plans are for my community. And I also champion this mindset. If a politician does not have an agenda for your community or the issues facing your community, they don't deserve your vote. Because what happens is we emotionally judge these people after they've become elected, when really and truly you should have had that energy way before they got elected.
Exactly.
Are you going to the town halls? Are you watching the debates? Because if you did, you would see that this person has this type of mindset. Yep. So in that regard, I knew that it was going to invoke a certain reaction. But then from some of my mutuals, not the people that haven't been following me for a long time, people that have been following me since I was at like 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, that called me a sellout, that called me an Uncle Tom. And I'm just like,
they didn't just like leave. They had to start name calling too. And I was just like,
have you just start calling me names? People that have blocked me, which is cool. You want to block me? Cool. I don't have no problem with that. Oh, you say it was a joke. It wasn't funny. You blocked me. Okay, cool. You're entitled to that. But you're going to call me a coon, a sellout, an Uncle Tom? Not just random people. I'm talking about people that, like I said, have been following me for a very long time. So of all people, my solid base, they knew it was a joke. Right off the muscle. They knew it was a joke. Oh, I speak. Stop playing. You're doing too much. Stop playing. Then you had that group of people that are just like, I speak.
Right.
You good? Did you eat today? Are you okay? You know what I mean? Like you sent me a message. You okay? You feeling all right? Oh yeah, I'm good. And you're like, oh, okay. And then there are those that literally didn't say anything. They're like, I just waited for your follow-up video because I knew a follow-up video had to come. Yeah. Then you had those, of course, you had your Trump 2020s. Welcome to the Trump train, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, you had people they was like really welcoming to you. They're like, come on in, brother.
I had a couple big creators that were conservative Trump supporters like, welcome, we're so happy to have you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, they're going to be so disappointed. Oh, my gosh. It was kind of
nice, though, too, even though you didn't mean it. If that were to be the case, they would be welcoming to you. It was still kind of like.
Yeah, I see that, which was really nice, by the way, too. You know what I mean? And, I talked about that in my follow-up video, my follow-up to the follow-up, to whereby I was just like, first of all, you guys don't read because it literally says hashtag sponsor post, hashtag G Curse Clothing, which is generational curse clothing.
Lie. I didn't read it. I just was like, I'm going to check on him. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the website is gcursellc.com. And I was promoting his brand, but I put the hats like right here on the edge of my knee. And I put just the brim up. That way, when I put the hat on all the way, I put it up like this. If I would have put it down like that, they would have known I was BSing, and nobody would have took it seriously because they would have known it wasn't a MAGA hat. But just the fact that it was red and under the lighting, I had to get under a specific lighting for it to look red. The hat is burgundy, like a deep burgundy. If you've seen the hat in real life, you'd be like, even if it had MAGA on it, it's not a typical MAGA hat. The MAGA hats are like a bright, bloody red. So I was just like, oh, this is ingenious. And
Yeah.
some people in the comments, if you look at the comments, they'll be like, oh, if you pause it at the right point, you can see a gold emblem on the front of the hat. I knew it wasn't a MAGA hat. I'm like, the average person is not doing that because I flicked it so fast. I literally grabbed it from my knee and was like, and put it up like that. Trump 2020, you might as well accept me. And when I said you might as well accept me, that was to lean back so that more people couldn't see what was on the front of it, because there was also wording over here and wording over here, which is not indicative of MAGA hats. And some people actually saw it. They actually saw the stuff on the side and they saw the lip, but not everybody. To the point where the video went viral. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, too, in the comments, I was just like, the crazy part is, let's say, for example, I did decide to switch and become a conservative. It's really amazing to me the dynamic of what took place in those comments just off of the difference of opinion. To whereby a lot of my loyal followers were just like, listen, I don't care what your political beliefs are. You're an intelligent man, not just an intelligent Black man, but you're an intelligent man, period. And I love the facts that you spit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to judge you based off your political beliefs. And I was like, I appreciate that. But you literally, like you said, speaking to the show that you did, there are literally people whose lives have been ruined, whose relationships have been ruined, whose marriages have been ruined, whose families have had, tumultuous situations happen, all based off their political beliefs. And I just think that that's so crazy. That is such a crazy concept. Put that car back.
It is. Because it's just like, I know I've noticed during this election here that certain people that I used to have really a tight, I consider tight, relationship with, kind of like disappeared a little bit. And, it is what it is. I stick with the ones that, stick with me, but I don't judge because I know people have, I don't know the situation, so full.
Right.
So really just be like, oh, I say nothing, but I notice, you never know.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you so much. And once again, that was so genius. I think I'm going to talk about it when I do my other show, because that right there was just like, all I kept thinking was, man, I wonder what they're thinking right now. I told my son, I said, what would you do? I said, would you take them back if they came back? He was like, yeah. I said, really though, would you? He's like, maybe. I was like, nah. True colors, But thank you again. Do you want to let the listeners know where they can find you?
Oh, absolutely. You can catch me on Instagram, Anthony I. Highland. You can catch me on Twitter, same handle. I make it very easy to find me on social media. I don't really promote Facebook so much so because I've already reached my 5,000 friend limit. And it's really more intimate to, family and close friends. I just try to keep my platforms separate from one another. My TikTok, of course, I speak 1906. And you're welcome on any of my platforms. And before you speak, do your research.
That's what's
Before you
up.
speak, do your research. So, absolutely. Oh, also, my album, Metaphorically Speaking, is available on all streaming platforms. My book, The Purpose of Power, it's available on Amazon for less than the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking for an opportunity or a mentor, so to speak, to build a platform on social media, I do offer sessions as well. A flat rate, $100, and we can get started. Oh, I'm sorry, my consultations are $50. But sponsored post on my page to promote your products and or services is $100. And I like to think that I'm pretty affordable. So, and if in fact you can't afford that, just hit me up. We can have a conversation.
For sure. Thank you and I'll make sure I keep that in my the notes on the show notes, and I'll let you know when the show's coming out. Most likely I'll have it going by tomorrow, but I'll give you the okay sign like in the morning, because I know we're like 3 hours behind. I think 3 hours behind. So, but I think I can have it
Okay.
up tomorrow. So yes.
Okay. When the link goes live, just text it to me.
For sure. Everybody,
Awesome.
1906. Thank you so much. You're welcome anytime.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me on.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.